guys, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining me on another adventure. I really appreciate it. I'm finally back out in the Aussie bush, and it's been a long time, and wow, yeah, I didn't realise how much I needed to be out here until I got here. I've been wandering around for about half an hour, and wow, I feel like a different person. Just calm, relaxed. Yeah, nature's an awesome place. It's been a strange couple of months, hasn't it? I really hope you're doing well, guys. I'm not doing too badly at all. So I was recently tagged in a video by Hiking Australia, where he ran through some of his, I think he did his top 3 luxury items. I found it really interesting just to see his perspective on what luxury was. And he very much took the view of things which were important, but he had upgraded to a better quality version of that product. So I'll link up the video here if you want to have a look. It got me thinking what my perception of luxury was. And it's really hard actually. If you're like me and this is your hobby and your passion, the lines between what's an essential piece of gear and what's a luxury piece of gear are pretty easy to blur. And so yeah, I spent lots of time thinking about it. I've landed on 3 items which I find to be quite luxury. Some of them might be quite surprising to you. So yeah, it'd be interested to get your thoughts on what you think. So let's find a good spot and yeah, run through what I've got in my bag. Yeah, this is a pretty good spot. I'm happy with this. Before I get into my luxury items, I thought what I might show you is this really cool bit of kit I've just picked up. It's a traditional oilskin harversack made by a guy in Victoria from a place called Swagman Outfitters. And this is really cool. It's the first time I've used it. It's not one of my luxury items, but yeah, pretty keen to give it a go. I've got all my camera gear here at the moment, so it's been really useful just as I've been walking around to have all my gear on me. And yeah, really cool old school kind of bit of kit. So yeah, really nice craftsmanship, very reasonably priced. So yeah, if you're in the market for something like this, check out Swagman Outfitters. You can find them on Etsy or Instagram. All right, now let's have a look in my backpack. Where to start? I've actually got my my day pack. So this is the Osprey Talon 22. I've had this for a couple of years. It's a pretty nice backpack. It's got about 22 litres of capacity, so it's not super large. So let's have a look around. So in thinking through my luxury items, I found it a really interesting challenge actually. And like I was saying before, when you spend a lot of time out in the bush, you have a lot of gear, and you have a lot of experience, the line between what's essential and what's luxury kind of blurs. For me, a lot of my trips are single overnighters, and I don't have much time, and so I want that trip to be as enjoyable as possible and as comfortable as possible. And so whilst yeah, some of those things might not strictly be needed if you're a sort of gram counting ultralightist, I like to be comfortable and have things to sort of use and sort of enjoy my time out in the bush. So my first luxury item is my double wall titanium mug from Outin Goods. This thing is incredible, and it has been with me every single trip since I've got it. And I think that kind of speaks volumes to the fact that it's just a really great piece of gear. Sometimes you get a piece of gear and you kind of use it once or twice and then it goes into storage and you don't really see it again. This thing has been with me every single time I've been out in the bush. It's really funny actually, because when I got this, I wasn't that excited about it. I've mentioned a few times, Sam from Outin Goods reached out, sent me a few things to try out, and I was really excited about the titanium grill, which you've seen me use a number of times. But he also included this really cool titanium mug. I wasn't really in the market for a titanium mug. I had a couple of cups that I've used previously. I've used the bottom of my jet boil. I have a collapsible Cedar Summit cup, and I've just used an old sort of aluminium or tin camping mug as well. You know, one of those really cheap ones you get from the camping stores. They've all been pretty good. I didn't know what I was missing until I started using this. So what I really like about this cup is it's got a double titanium wall, and that means it's insulated, and that is pretty awesome. And I've used this for countless coffees. You've seen me brew up a coffee every single trip since I've had this. I've been lucky enough to brew up some coffees in some pretty amazing spots. Not only coffees though, hot chocolates, anything hot. Now why it's good is because you can put water straight off the boil in here, and because of that insulation, you can actually hold the cup. The other great thing about this is it actually does a great job at keeping your drink warm. Now I do a lot of camping in colder environments, and I've had lots of frosty mornings where the temperature is well below zero. And on those mornings, having this means your coffee is going to stay warm and hot and enjoyable, and you're going to have a great start to the day. I've certainly used other cups in the past. I've mentioned them before. Cheap single-walled camping cup from a camping store, a Jetboil cup, which is just a single bit of plastic, and also a collapsible Cedar Summit mug. All good cups in their own reasons, but they don't insulate, and on a cold winter's morning, your coffee goes cold pretty quickly. And this has been a real revelation for me, just to be able to enjoy that first start to the day, the first cup of coffee and a good start to the day. It's also a really handy size for harvesting water, so if you're in a stream and you're just pouring water into your bladder or a drink bottle, or if it's hard to reach with a drink bottle, or you've got a narrow opening drink bottle. I've also used this to harvest snow. That's been pretty cool. Yeah, just really versatile, rock solid, and I just, like, this thing is fairly indestructible, and yeah, just I can't speak highly enough of it. So really nice bit of kit, and yeah, I've certainly enjoyed using it. So I'll put the specs on the screen so you can see all the details about it. They're about $65 from Outin Goods, so not a cheap item, but certainly not ridiculously expensive either. And I think this is going to be something that's with me for a long time. So yeah, I've got no qualms at all in recommending this, and yeah, absolutely love it. One thing you'll find though, you just need to think through how you pack it, how to make sure that this bit inside isn't dead space. What I do, if I carry my little Soto gas canister stove, that fits in there really nice and neatly, and then I nest that inside my titanium pot. I've got a little half piece of scour that I've cut off, and put that in there, and that just stops it from rattling around. So, but that's the way I do it, and it works really well, and it minimises the space. You could of course do anything else that fit in there, pair of socks, clothing, whatever. Great bit of kit, really love it, and it's going to be with me for many, many years to come. Fantastic. All right, my second luxury item that I'm going to share with you today is something that's relatively new to my kit, and it's been really invaluable the last few camps I've had because I haven't been able to have a campfire. And for me, coming out in the wilderness, having that experience of being able to sit around a fire, just the natural flicker of the light, that's really important. And so something I've found recently has been a candle lantern. This is made by UCO. You can get a little neoprene cozy for it. And basically it's a little collapsible lantern. Has a glass shield, I need to clean it off, it's a little bit dirty. And then a candle that comes out underneath here. Now these things are absolutely fantastic. They don't weigh very much. Again, I'll put the specs on the screen so you can see all the details about it. But the fact, yeah, it doesn't take up much space. It doesn't weigh that much. But just having that natural light from a candle is really, really awesome. And it just kind of makes your camp a little bit more cozy, I think, and a little bit more enjoyable. It's also not as bright light as some of the LED lights you get, and so you're not attracting as many bugs at night, and that can be a really big deal too. So it's not super bright, but it does give you just enough to see around camp. Now there's a whole bunch of different candles for these. I actually have a second one too. This one operates off a tea light candle. This one's a lot lighter. Super nice bit of kit. I've got a couple of different examples here of candles. So they do normal wax, beeswax. Beeswax lasts longer, and then citronella. So that's really good to keep the bugs away at night. This guy here, this will also take just a regular tea light candle too, so you don't need to stress too much if you can't find the UCO ones. So this is a little reflector, so that just gives you that little bit of extra light, and that just clips on the side. And then you can hang this, has a little chain here too. Now interestingly, these candles actually have a little plate at the top, and that means that blocks all the heat coming out. And so you can hang this underneath your tarp, and I've done this many times. Hang it on your ridgeline or just on a little tie-out point, and that is going to be safe and not burn your tarp. At least that's been my experience. This has a glass window, and that is basically fully enclosed. And I've actually knocked this off a couple of times when I've just been walking and haven't been very careful, walking around my campsite, and it's just knocked off. That's fallen to the ground, but the flame has nowhere to go because it's fully enclosed. And so for somewhere like Australia where fire can be really, really dangerous, for me that's just an extra bit of peace of mind with this. Obviously you still need to be careful, you still have a flame, but I found this to be pretty safe for the way I use it. So yeah, really nice bit of kit, just gives your camp that extra bit of something. Not essential by any means, but wow, I love it. that's the candle then. So my third luxury item is the Silky Saw. These things are awesome. They're super lightweight and they allow you to process wood in a way that I never really know that I needed to do before. Now, my views on this are, in Australia, in this part of the southeastern Australia, you don't need one of these. If you want to have a campfire, you can get away. You don't really need to process wood. There's enough eucalypt branches. Look around me, there's heaps of stuff here, which you can just pick off the ground, break it with your boot, or sort of snap it with your foot, and yeah, you don't really need one of these. But since having one of these saws, what I've discovered is that, particularly if you like cooking on a campfire, what this lets you do is control the heat of the fire much better. So by cutting different bits of wood to different sizes, having short pieces of fatter wood, it allows you to control the heat, and that makes cooking just a lot easier. And so for that reason, this is my third luxury item. Now I've got two models here. I've got the Super SL, which is the first saw I bought. I really like this saw. It's very similar to the Gomboy, but it has a curved handle, and that curved handle meant the ergonomics for me were just better than the Gomboy, which is why I ended up going on this saw. My second saw is the F180, and to be perfectly honest, this is my favourite by far, and the reason is this weighs about 150 grams, so lighter than the Super SL. It's a little bit shorter. Even though it has a shorter blade, you're not losing much in efficiency, and for the sort of processing of firewood or bushcraft items, if you want to make a fire reflector or some cooking supports or pot supports, or even just cutting some poles to support a tent, my bug net, I normally just use this and cut up a stick off the ground, and that works really well. You don't need any more than this. It's only if you're cutting really big trees that you need something bigger, I think. So yeah, this for me, for 150 grams, the versatility it provides, it allows you to collect firewood faster, it allows you to control your heat better on the fire, and it allows you to build things too. And so yeah, it's just a really nice bit of kit. They're kind of easy to pack flat, they don't take up much space. Yeah, awesome. I love these things, they're great. The one thing you do need to be mindful of is, let's just go through the ethics of bushcraft. You shouldn't be cutting live timber. It's about using the resources and not having an impact on the ground, so using dead timber, and that's why I've gone for a fine tooth saw. It's just a little bit better on the dead timber. It does take a little bit more effort, but it provides a nicer cut, I think, and just works a little bit better on the really dead wood. A lot of hardwood, these things seem to work well. The one thing you need to know, and you can see here, I've actually broken the tip off this saw. They cut, I think it's on the pull stroke, and then on the push stroke they're not cutting, and so it's easy because they're really thin blade. It's actually quite easy to bend and break the tips off. Now I broke the tip off this one the first time that I used it. It's a bit annoying, but to be honest, it doesn't affect the performance at all, and I haven't bothered replacing that blade because of it. One other thing I should end on is just it's a really nice bit of kit to have with you. So a few trips ago I was on a ridgeline driving on a really small fire trail, and there was some blowdown, and so the trail was blocked. If I didn't have this on me, I would have had to walk an extra probably 4 or 5 k's in and 4 or 5 k's out, and that would have been a lot of extra hard work. This little thing here allowed me to clean up the branch, a big gum tree branch across the road. Under 10 minutes I had that completely cleaned up and was able to drive through. So just a little bit of extra comfort too, that if you come across a tree, across the trail, that you just have something with you that helps you get out of that situation. So I like having it for that reason too. Great bit of kit. One thing I have done is with this saw, they can be a little bit rattly. You can hear that kind of, there's a little bit of play just because it's a thin blade and a thicker handle, there's a little bit of play there. I put a very thin strip of foam from my, just a yoga mat in there, and that means this one now locks completely in place and is silent, no rattles. So yeah, a little tip there for everyone to play with at home. And that is my 3 luxury items. I'd be really interested to hear your take on luxury. If you're like hiker in Australia and it's about the upgrades, or if it's like me where it's the nice to have but not essential, or maybe it is actually about what is luxury, what's going to make your camp the most comfortable. And I'm pretty excited that I've got a underquilt coming from Tier Gear for my hammock, and so for me that might be my new piece of luxury item, because it'll make my camping in hammocks much more comfortable. Anyway, drop a comment below, let me know what you've got, let me know your take on luxury. yeah, great to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, let me know. Now, the last bit of this video that I need to do is to tag someone else. Now, I'm going to tag 2 people. Now, Scotty from Scotty's Gone Walkabouts has been doing a lot of gear videos recently, so I've got a pretty good sense of what he's carrying, but I'd love to get Scotty's perspective on what is his luxury items. So Scotty, it'd be great to see what you've got in your bag, mate, and what you consider luxury items to be. And the other guy I'd like to tag is Chris Bammon. Chris does some awesome videos. He's got a super big channel. He's done just so well. It's awesome to see what he's been able to achieve. Chris, I'd love to see, with your style of video, mate, when you're not talking to the camera, how you would take and explain luxury without the use of voice, but also with your boat you can take a lot of stuff with you, so I'd love to see what you take in the boat that you consider to be luxury. So guys, if you're up for it, love to see what you've got. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers guys.